Hello and welcome back to Music with Mascots. Here I am with Kiri, is the mascot of the day. Yes, hello. She likes to lick my nose and make sure it's clean. Yes, she's a very sweet dog. Today, I'm going to be making what is possibly the most important video I will ever make. She doesn't care. Most important video I may ever make. Use the word may, but I don't use it lightly. Today, I'm going to be talking about the ever-present question of what musical format is best. Is it vinyl? Is it CD? Is it SACD? Or is it streaming? And the answer may not surprise you. May not surprise you at all. So, ready? Let's get to it. You want to get down? I'm going to relax a little bit here. There are a lot of different ways to look at this issue. So the first way I'm going to discuss is the obvious way. Value. Bang for your buck, because there's no competition. The best bang for your buck is streaming. You're going to subscribe to a service, and depending on what you're looking for, you can even get a high quality streaming service for under $20 a month. You're going to patch it through whatever you have for a speaker. You can hook it directly to a Blu-ray speaker from your phone and get a decent quality. You can go directly to your headphones, however you want to experience the music. And you can even go to a high-end audio system with a super expensive streaming high-end audio system with an expensive streamer with a fancy DAC and great speakers and a great amplifier, and you'll get some high-quality audio. Is that for everybody? No. Is it for some of us? Yeah. It's something that I use, not all the time, but I use it some of the time. If I want to listen to Beethoven's Ninth and I want to listen to Ferenc Friedschei's recording of it, and I did this before I bought the Friedschei box, I'll stream it. And a lot of times I'll stream something before I buy it. And that recording was so good, my wife, who is not an audiophile, was in the kitchen and walked into the living room where I was listening to it and said, "Who is this?" That was streaming. It was a high-res lossless from Apple Music into my stereo system via an Eversolo A8. And yeah, that's nice equipment. And I have a Yamaha integrated amp and some Polk speakers. The integrated amp is the AS800, I think, and the Polk speakers are ones I bought used. And they're decent speakers, T11s, something like that. The Eversolo is the most expensive piece of equipment there. Some of it I bought used. But definitely streaming is the least expensive way to go there. I did eventually buy the Ferenc Friedschei box, and I've got a whole bunch of his wonderful music there. And I do have a bunch of his stuff on vinyl. So that's one thing to take care of. Which is best? We'll get to that in a bit. Vinyl versus CD. Now this is the one that everybody obsesses over. And the answer is vinyl better? Sometimes. Is CD better? Sometimes. Are the two created equal? No. They're very different. And the question is, when is one better than the other? Well, it's better than the other when it sounds better. Simple answer. Complicated question. So let's take a look at where that gets complicated. Maria Callas. That's where it gets complicated. But this is a good example. So I've got this 2-box set of 20 LPs of Maria Callas that I bought at a library sale. Wonderful, wonderful music in here. And just the other day I got a used Maria Callas box 64 CD set. Which is better? The Maria Callas box. Now, the other one has nicer covers inside of it. It's got booklets and stuff that are, it's got pictures, so it's not something I'm gonna give up. Because it has that aspect of the paraphernalia that one gets with the LP that one doesn't get in a CD box. And especially when it's in something like this, with the 2 boxes. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay. Oops. Very nice dust cover jacket. Now this is not something that I would want to leave the LP in for any length of time. Comes with a nice booklet of Maria Callas. Not in English, by the way. It's all in Italian. This was an Italian set. The recording quality is not great. The pieces are nice. The sound is not what anyone would call audiophile. The CD here have been remastered. The sound quality, because of that remastering, is far superior to what's available on the old LPs. So if you're looking for sound quality, the CDs are much better. Where do you lose out? Because there's always compromise, right? That's the booklet. That's a booklet. It's not a booklet. It's a CD-ROM. Your computer read a CD-ROM? Mine doesn't. I have to have something with a CD-ROM to plug into my computer to read this. So this set is a little bit outdated from that perspective. So Giuseppe Verdi box number 1, we'll just use this as an example, is a 9 CD set. We have an Aida, which is a 2 CD set. Comes like this. You have a list of tracks. Oops. You have a list of tracks that you can follow along. You have a cast listing on the back. If you want the liner notes, if you want the lyrics, the words, you got to go on the CD-ROM, or you can go online. You punch in Aida, you punch in translation, and you're going to get the whole thing. Not as good as having it right there as part of the box set, but it'll do. If what you're looking for is the sound, you've got that right there. If you're looking for information about the score or anything like that, you can have your tablet right here. Your decision. How do you want to go? If these are remastered on vinyl, yeah, you might want to go with the vinyl. Is this always the case? Absolutely not. I'm going to show you something interesting. For the moment, we're going to be into all vinyl, because all vinyl is not created equal. Close to the Edge by Yes. Many people think that this is the greatest prog rock album ever made. I tend to agree. It's certainly up there in the top 5, and you can argue as which one is superior. Of those top 5, it doesn't matter. Get all 5. This is the copy that I bought in 1975, roughly. It's still in pretty good shape. I took care of it, right? So now I've got it in a nice protective sleeve. These are the lyrics the way it was originally packaged, right? I need to put this in a protective sleeve. I just wanted to see the way it came. Now, yeah, it was the anniversary, 50th anniversary issue. It's something I bought when I was 15. So let's first look at, where do we want to go first? Let's take a look at this one. Now, this comes with the 33 1/3 RPM remastering. Still says produced by Yosemite Offered. Oh, upside down. Very nice remastering. Is it superior in quality to this? No, it's not. A little different? Yeah, it is. There are some pluses and there are some minuses. So, for example, on the song And You and I find the percussion to be a little bit clearer, especially the lovely little triangle that Bill Bruford hits. I find the mids, especially in the last 2/3 section, where there's some keyboard stuff going on, a little bit clearer. However, I find the bass is diminished a little bit. So that's, whoever's doing the remastering is making these decisions. It's got a whole bunch of different CD versions. Comes with a big book. With lots of stuff, lots of pictures. Comes with a signed print of the inside picture, signed by Roger Dean, the artist. And then we got a bunch more CDs with the Steven Wilson 2025 remixes, live show, and then a disc of rarities. Now, one thing there is no shortage of is live versions of Close to the Edge. You can go through Yes's discography, and they have live album after live album after live album. And they play Close to the Edge on every one. They play And You and I pretty much on every one. And they play Siberian Khatru, which is the third and last song, on nearly every one. And not all versions are created equal. And some of them are more exciting than the studio version. More exciting does not necessarily mean better. It's different. It's a little more exciting. And depending on how well it's recorded at that time, it can be something that you want to listen to at a different time than you might want to listen to the studio recording. Close to the Edge. And Close to the Edge. Another vinyl? Yeah, another vinyl. Okay, Close to the Edge. Analog Productions, 45 RPM. Now, this means it's a double LP. Yep, you got to get up halfway through Close to the Edge and turn it over. Wait a minute. Close to the Edge is an 18-minute song. It takes one side of an LP, but here it takes a whole LP. You got to get up in the middle and flip it over. Do I want to do that? No. Will I do it? No. Is this version a little bit better than the original? Marginally. Not enough for me to want to get up in the middle and have to flip it over. Is the version here of And You and I better? Yes. I find it a little bit cleaner. Enough so that I will play this version rather than the old LP version. Is it worth $50? That's going to be up to you. Everybody's going to have their own opinion on that. Now, I've not heard the SACD version that came out about the same time this one did, so I can't compare it. I've heard CD versions, and this is easily in my opinion, better than CD versions. The original vinyl one I like better than the CD versions. But then again, that's going to be a personal choice. Is one better than the other? Now, here's where my response is interesting. Yes, the one that's better is the one I'm listening to at the time. Or it's the one I have. If I only have one copy of Close to the Edge, that's the best copy because it's the best copy I have. And a lot of times, that's what it comes down to. CD versus streaming. High-res streaming versus regular CD. Yeah, this is going to depend on your system, okay? So if you've got a really good audio system, high-res streaming is easily as good as CD from the high-quality end of the high-res streaming. Something that I found interesting when I first started listening to high-res streaming is not all high-res is equal. So my Eversolo will tell me the resolution of the lossless audio that I'm listening to. And a lot of it's just CD quality. Even though it's lossless, it's just at CD quality. It's just not losing anything. So you're right there, the same with CD quality. To my mind, I would rather play a CD. I think that there's a little bit better, and that's probably all in my brain. And I have the physical format in front of me, and that makes me feel better. Does it make it sound better? I think so, but that may be in my mind. I don't know. I'm a tactile kind of person, and I like the tactile physical media right here in my hands. So I'm not going to say scientifically it's better. I'm going to say I think it's better. Therefore, it's better. Okay. If I don't have it, absolutely I'm going to stream it if I want to listen to something. And if, especially in classical music, if I want to listen to a different performance that I don't have, I'm going to stream it. For example, I have 4 or 5 cycles of Mahler symphonies. My favorite cycles are the Bernstein. But if I want to listen to Seiji Ozawa's recording of the Ninth Symphony, I'll buy it on SACD. All right, I bought it on SACD because I wanted to hear it, and it isn't even available on streaming. Okay, so I lied there. The SACD is better than the vinyl because the vinyl doesn't exist. Wait a minute, the vinyl doesn't exist? Yeah, a CD is better than vinyl if the vinyl doesn't exist. Get that through your head. Take a minute. All right. I'm going to calm down now. Vinyl doesn't exist for everything. It doesn't. I love the Maria Schneider Jazz Orchestra. There's very little of her stuff that's available on vinyl. It's all CD. Beautiful, beautiful jazz music, but it's only available on CD. A lot of smaller groups can only afford to release their stuff on CD because vinyl's a lot more expensive. Does the quality really matter to someone like that? Absolutely not. They're trying to make a living. So buy their CDs if you like them, and go listen to them if they're nearby and performing, and support the smaller time musician when you can. Yeah, but a lot of the times the question of which format is better is when you're talking about older stuff, because older stuff is where there was a lot of vinyl and sometimes brand new stuff. Now, something interesting here with brand new stuff. Was it mastered for CD and then just slapped onto vinyl? Was it mastered for CD and then was it mastered differently for vinyl? Was it mastered for vinyl and then slapped onto CD? There's different process involved here. Now, in talking to people in the music industry who are friends of mine, mostly musicians, they have told me that there is a different process in mastering for vinyl than for CD. I was aware of this, but only peripherally, and I understand that this is true. So, now, how does this affect what I'm listening to? A lot of stuff these days is mastered for CD. And if you're going to buy it on vinyl, you want a company that is mastering differently for vinyl and CD. And there are a lot of companies out there like ECM, ACT, Deutsche Grammophon, all of the big companies now, I believe, are mixing separately for CD and for analog. So you don't really have to worry too much about that. Smaller companies, re-releases, that's where you get dicey. There were a lot of years where the CD stuff that was being re-released was just slapping the vinyl master onto a CD format, and it didn't sound good. Especially, if you've got like an MP3 format that just doesn't cover what the sound of vinyl can. The early CD sounds didn't cover that much. The CD range of sound now is much better than it used to be. So are you talking about something that's been remastered since then or is newly released? Are you talking about something that is newly remastered for vinyl? And you've got UHQRs that are hundreds of dollars for a single record. And can you afford that? I can't. So I don't have any UHQRs. And I'm not looking to get into it. I don't want to spend $500 on a single record. I don't want to spend $200 on a single record, especially if I can get it in another format. The only time I would even consider spending that much money is if I can't get it any other way. Then you're talking about rarity, and that's a whole different subject. That's not quality of sound. That's, what is something worth? Well, something is worth what you can get someone to pay for it. And if there's only 100 of a specific album out there and there are 300 people that want it, the price is going to go up. If there's only 100 of something out there and only 2 people want it, it's going to cost you $2. So scarcity does not necessarily mean value, but it can. Depends on how you want to look at it. So there we go. Last but not least, SACD. SACD? SACD. 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 Your equipment matters. Sorry, that's just the way it is. SACD is a proprietary technology. Most SACDs now are hybrid SACDs, which means they have a CD layer, which if your CD player does not have the technology built in to play an SACD, it will play the CD layer. And it's going to sound like every other CD out there in the world, which is fine, but you paid extra money for it. You don't want that. You want the SACD, right? Well, if you paid more money to get the SACD, you have to pay more money to get the SACD player. That can be very expensive. Now, if you go onto eBay and you buy a cheap SACD player, it's not going to be very good, probably. Now, I recently went on and I needed an SACD player for downstairs here in the Fallout shelter, and I got an El Cheapo beat up old Denon, and it doesn't sound very good. What did I do? I spent $80. However, upstairs in my living room, I have a Marantz, which had a cracked front plate, which I was able to repair pretty well. And it was an SACD player, Marantz SACD player. And Marantz makes very nice CD players if you get into the upper levels, and they make cheap stuff too, just like everybody else does nowadays. But this is a decent one. So I fixed that front plate, put it back together, and it sounds very good. Sounds very good. And playing SACDs on that through my nice system upstairs, they sound amazing most of the time. Sometimes, depending on where you get them and what kind of an SACD it is, you're getting an SACD that's basically the CD track layered into an SACD layer, in which case you're not getting anything special. So careful what you're buying. That being said, if you're buying a real SACD, it's better. It sounds better. Is it a huge difference? Sometimes, not always. Again, depends on the quality of the mastering. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And you would have to sit down and compare two tracks. Did I do that? Yes. What did I do it with? Mike Oldfield. Tubular bells. Did the SACD sound better? It sounded different. So first let's go vinyl to SACD. The vinyl still sounds great. The SACD sounded clearer, a little bit clearer. The higher pitched stuff in particular was definitely there more. And a lot of people may not like that. I did have to turn the treble down a bit. I do have some hearing problems, and that may have been all it was. Once I turned that down, I definitely thought that the SACD compared to the vinyl. I'm not going to say one was blowing the other out of the water, but both blew the regular CD out of the water. Clarity, absolutely better than the regular CD. The overall tone, better. Crispness, better. The SACD, you're not going to have any of the noise or anything that you would get from an older vinyl, which mine is. So that was all gone. And if you were looking for that cleanliness, if you're looking for that cleanliness of sound that you might not like from vinyl that you'll sometimes get from CD, the SACD is going to give you that every time with a superior sound quality. If you're listening to something super audiophile, like Jazz at the Pawn Shop, the vinyl versions of that, the remastered vinyl versions of that are just amazing. The SACD is just absolutely amazing as well. I would say it's comparable. Am I going to say one is better than the other? No, I'm not. I'm going to say that SACD is less expensive, and I'm going to say the sound is equally as good. So there it's going to be a preference of, do you want the vinyl experience, or are you okay with a compact disc? You can weigh the price comparison. You can also try the lossless streaming and see what level that comes in at. I did not do that. I just compared the SACD to a vinyl. I like the SACD as much as I like the vinyl. It's easier to use the SACD in this particular case. Usually, if I have the option of a used vinyl, I would go with used vinyl. In this particular case, I would pick up a used SACD if I can. A lot of times you can pick up a used SACD for $10 or $15 and get that better quality. So that's a consideration. Which is best? Talked about streaming. Talked about vinyl. Talked about remastered vinyl. Talked about remastered CDs, regular CDs. Skimmed over. And this is just a quick overview. And we talked about SACDs. Which is the best? A, the one you have. Right? The one you have is always, what you have is better than what you don't have. Number two, what you prefer. Now, if you prefer vinyl sound, the vinyl is pretty much always going to sound better. Almost always. If you like handling vinyl, which I do, that's part of the experience. If you like the physical, that's part of the experience. Don't write that off. Don't just say, oh, that doesn't matter, because it does. It's a whole experience. Very important to realize that. Number 3, better sound quality may be there in the format, but sometimes you have to pay extra to get it out of the format, which is true with SACDs. It's certainly true with the vinyl too, and you can go crazier with the expense of vinyl, but you don't have to spend as much to get really good sounding vinyl, because you quickly reach that point of diminished returns where you're spending a lot of money to get a little bit better sound. And I think that price point is getting lower all the time, with the quality of cartridges available now at a lower price range. The quality of equipment available, turntable prices have come way down. You can get a very good turntable for under $1,000. It might not be perfect, and you can spend $2,000 and get a lot better. You can spend $3,000 or $4,000 and get a little bit better than the $2,000, and you can spend $20,000 and get a little bit better than that $4,000 or $5,000. You're reaching that law of diminishing returns. Styluses, you can get something halfway decent for $100. The Ortophone 2M Red, Grado makes a good stylus at around $100. I don't remember which model it is. And Audio-Technica does. A lot of the better, the higher end companies don't even look at you for that kind of money. They're not interested in that market. But Audio-Technica has a Shibata cartridge. It's like $239. I'm going to be doing a review of that soon, and that's just amazing. You used to not be able to touch a Shibata cartridge for under $600, and now you can get it for a little over $200, and the sound is really great. So these are all factors that you have to consider. And in the end, what's best? Well, as I say a lot on this channel, whatever you like the best is the best. What I like, not necessarily going to be what you like. What your friends like may or may not be what you like, and what they like is just as good as what you like and what I like, because they like it. It's all music. Listen to the music. And remember, if you've made it this far, because you've made it quite a ways in, please hit the like and subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, as it helps grow the channel. And remember, again, if you've made it this far, we all live together. We share this planet together. Please treat each other with kindness. Be kind to one another. And always listen to the music. Watch some more videos on my channel if you want. Thank you very much.